So yeah, okay. I am Braden. We run Masters of Brickjitzu. We're a Ninjago and Monkey Kid community. We do mainly videos about that, and we had an interview with the animators, and now we are doing one with the voice actors. So very cool. And I will let Ace and Logan and Kyle go next, and then I guess we can get more into you guys as well.
Yeah, so I'm Ace. I'm mostly known as the Monkey Kid guy of our team.
Hey, I'm Logan. I am Brick Dude on Instagram. Kind of just post a bunch of photography edits, and happy to be here.
Do we say now?
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I'm Jack,
just
and
jumping.
I'm the voice of MK. And hello, thanks for having me.
I'm Stepahnie, and I do the voice of May and Moo.
I think.
Hi, I'm Micheal Sinterniklaas, and I am the voice director of Monkey Kid and proud collector of some of the Legos.
So I guess we start asking the questions. I was interested how you guys get the roles. What was the process of that? Or found out about the project?
I guess it starts on the production side. I got contacted by my friend Sophia, who I worked with at Titmouse in LA, who's Australian, went back down under and reached out to me and was just like, Michael, like you did all this great work with us casting, finding people, and directing, but do you think you'd be interested in helping us on this new cool project? And it was all super NDA'd. And then I signed all the paperwork and promised my soul to Satan if I said anything. And it turns out she was not lying. It's really cool. And I was really excited about it, both because I loved Legos and made my parents step on many a brick when I was growing up. And back in my day, you didn't have specialty pieces. You just had bricks. And you had to make something out of bricks. There was no curved bricks. There were just bricks. I'm a man of a certain age. And then, but also I grew up in the UK watching all these like stories of Monkey. There was a show just called Monkey, or it's referred to as Monkey Magic, and it's an old show, but like that was our Power Rangers, when I was a kid, and that's what all the kids wanted to dress up as. So the combination of those two things was like the perfect Reese's cup of magic from my child brain.
Sarah said she also that was her first approach to Monkey as well.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, actually, so one of the other cast members, Schemmel, knew that I loved it as a kid and was down in Australia doing a convention and got some DVDs, which, were the same region as the US, so I could play them in my American player. And then on the way out of the convention, he was trying to find a t-shirt or something, couldn't, but one of the handlers was wearing a shirt, and he was like, oh, I want to get a shirt like that. Like, where do I get those? And the guy that ran the whole thing was like, take off your shirt and give it to Schemmel. And so he literally took the shirt off that kid's back, and now I have it. It's in New York, and it's large and it's lovely. I feel like someone's girlfriend from college. Like I stole my boyfriend's T-shirt.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Did you have a favorite theme? Any kind of favorite theme?
I like the Mario theme. The Mario theme is really cool, but collector's
the Ninjago theme is the best, right?
Ninja, of course, Ninjago, totally, Ninjago. So who would I fight? Ninjago, like fighting Monkey Kid, like
that would be
awesome. Make a Lego animation of that?
We've asked, but the job people don't answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then they
Sarah said she's down.
Right?
Sarah said she's down, but then
we
the job
can do
people.
our own stop motion one, right?
we could, yeah.
And the collector. So Leica is like an old German camera thing. Mm-hmm. I love them. Cameras are like my other little thing, like cameras and guitars. And someone made a Leica one. And I want Lego to make like a working film camera. You could do it. It would have light leak like crazy, like a Lomo camera. It'd be really cool. So yeah, collector.
Cool. Actually, Braden knows Lego designers, so he could probably pitch that to them.
Well, someone did one, like a really classic, like the oldest film camera Leica, but I don't think it's been voted up enough or something.
Low ideas. Yeah,
ideas.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, Lego Ideas is where you can vote, and fans can the fan submissions get picked to be an actual Lego set. So maybe you can design the set, put it on Lego Ideas, and we'll all vote for it. And you can be the one that creates the next Lego camera.
I might need help.
We can help
we're
you.
here. We got you. We can help
Yeah, yeah, of course. You just take a picture of the camera and you put it on there, and you're like, just imagine this as Lego and vote for it. You don't even design the
Is there like a Lego
model.
filter in Photoshop? I can just like turn this into Lego.
you.
That'd be so cool.
Stephanie and Jack, how do you guys were approached by the role? I know Village told me a story about you, Jack. How he approached you about the role. I don't know if you want to tell your side, because I know his side.
Yeah. Vilas and I worked together on The Dragon Prince, which is a Netflix show. And I got an audition in my email while I was in Hawaii on vacation. And then like immediately like audition arrived, and then very quick follow-up text from Vilas of like, hey, here's a thing I want you should have just received a thing that is like very secretive and doesn't say really what it is at all, but know that that I'm involved and you should try hard. So I tried hard on the audition, just on my like laptop, like built in. I did not bring anything with me on this vacation to record. So just like built-in mic on my laptop, sitting in the rental car, trying my best. And it happened quite quickly. Like I think then, like within a week of being back in LA, we were there recording, and I was signing NDAs to be told what this project actually was. It was very good. I loved working with Vilas in the past and on Dragon Prince. So it was just an immediate like trust thing there, where I just knew it would be a cool project if he was willing to vouch for it. So, and then yes, signing an NDA, finding out fully actually what we were doing was very exciting. I too grew up on Lego, so it was cool to venture into that world. And my favorite theme, and I wasn't sure how you meant that question to Michael. My favorite theme was Star Wars. My favorite Lego theme was Star Wars, and my favorite theme, but my favorite theme largely is overcoming grief.
I can vouch with that. Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I guess I auditioned for it, but Michael gave me a heads up because I also like work on the production side of it a little bit. Like I help with casting and stuff. So that's why we both, I guess Jack and I both had insider information about what the project was, even though none of the other actors did. So I think Michael put in a good word for me when it came to the May audition. And
I didn't even need to. Sorry to interrupt you. I didn't need to. I just mentioned your name, and like Sarah and Dave were like, "Oh yeah, would love to get Stephanie. You think it's possible?" And I was like, "I know a guy."
Yeah. So, and then my approach to the character is, I don't know, like, it's like just to be not cutesy. I mean, like I didn't have, like, it was really easy just at the beginning, like, oh, she's like a cute girl, but then to be more like rough and tumble and like tomboy, and then slowly it was like also to allow myself to be weird. But also like Jack is doing such funny work, and really like he like takes a lot of freedoms with like the scenes and the scripts, and then that just like inspires me to just do strange options. Like Michael's very generous. We'll do like a lot of takes.
It's a very playful session every time. It's really like, okay, now try stuff and try more stuff, and any weird idea we'll throw out there, Michael will throw two back, and we'll just keep trying stuff. And I love that process of really getting to play, like get the script exactly, and then also play around and try some other stuff and embellish and add a lot of little bips and bops. And the show is so like frenetically paced and like coming at you 1,000 miles a minute that it feels like there is room for all these little additional embellishments, and like anywhere you can sneak in another little joke they're excited about. So it's a really fun process.
I think
Yeah.
embezzlements works as well. I think we are
we're stealing the
stuffing them
laps
in there.
everywhere we can find them and taking them home with us.
Definitely. No,
And-
I think one of the things that was really important to me when we started this whole process was that we get to record it as a cast. That's traditionally how prelay shows were done, and more I find producers pushing for individual records. There's a lot of magic in having people bounce off of each other, and this cast is so dope that the play like really gets sort of magnified. And it's the way that I want to direct you too. I really feel like the fun of doing this work is I don't have to pretend to be grown up anymore. I can just run crazy, rampant nutso. And, Sarah and David have been extraordinary, like playmates on doing this thing, but having everyone together, even during pandemic, which we can talk about that process shift later, everyone being there together and bouncing off of each other has been extraordinary. Also, Jack, you are like, Jack is one of the people, I'd worked with most of the people before, but this is my first time with Jack. And I loved hearing your story about the casting because they brought you up early on and were like, oh, we'd really love to see if we can get Jack. And I was like, oh yeah, I know his work. He's great. But like, weirdly, like you pick up on all my stupid little references and it
we're very
lets us
on
be
the same page.
super efficient. Did you say what?
Yeah, we're very on the same page. I have talked about this with my wife before of like, it's really so fast. We move so fast where it's just like, he's throwing out like, as I'm starting to pitch a thing, you're like, yes. And then make it more this as like, there's a real finish each other's sentences for like weird joke references that we're trying.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I'll be
Michael,
like, give me more, not a finger. And you're like, yep. And I'm like, there's no explanation.
Yeah, like no one, like I've known Michael for a very long time, so I know these references because I've heard them like a million times before. Like not because I'm actually, I mean, but it's not because like I'm actually like well versed in pop culture. Like it's not because I'm cool enough to actually know these things, right? It's only because I've heard them repeated. But like he doesn't even like, I've noticed in sessions like you'll start to say something and then Jack's like, oh yeah, and then he just like does it, and then I'm like, but then I know from the way that Jack does it, he got the reference. Whereas I'm like, he didn't even finish the sentence.
I'm sure there are times where I cut you off and then veer 180 degrees to the right. Oh, of course, Michael. Hi, my name is Anthony.
Yeah, that was Roscoe Pico Train for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I actually don't think you've ever done that. I don't think you've ever done it wrong. I'm serious.
I love hearing that.
And if you did, it was probably better. And then I just claimed that it was right. I was like, yep, that was my.
I'm interested.
Yeah,
what are some of the? Oh, sorry, you go, Stephanie.
Go ahead. No, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that I'm interested. What are some of the things that you guys? Because I know like Flying Bark wise, they changed the script a lot. But I'm interested. What are some of the things that you guys brought to the script as well?
I don't remember anything specifically. I will say this. I don't think I've ever said this. I told Michael this and I told Sean this and they were surprised. But like, so like in the beginning, like sometimes like we'll record stuff and then they'll like do an animatic. And then Sarah used to scratch a bunch of May stuff, like if they were like an added line or whatever. And I was always like, I always thought Sarah was really good,
Great.
She's like really good. And then, but she'd like do these like really weird takes on the scratch, right? And then basically, I think that was like, from season 1, and I kind of like picked up on it. And then after that, like when I haven't really said this publicly, but like my inspiration character-wise for May is pretty much Sarah.
That makes so much sense.
She's a weirdo. Like, and I mean that in like a really like nice, good way. But like, like I don't know, Jack, if you can tell or if you see it.
I had not. That had not at all crossed my mind, and then once you say it, it totally makes sense.
I don't think I've told Sarah that actually.
She'll find out when she watches this.
Can you guys do like a supplemental where you do a follow-up with her and just get her to do the impressions of everyone in the cast? She does a good job. Like, it's amazing. And when we first talked about casting and I threw Stephanie's name out there, I remember thinking, okay, I mean this in the absolutely best possible way. We did a movie called Your Name, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like pitching we got it, and we weren't even going to submit for those roles. And then the client was like, "But I wanted you to do them after we already auditioned a bunch of people." But one of the reasons I wanted her to do it is, she was from the Midwest, and that was relevant to that movie. But also, she's got this like feisty sort of boy-y thing that is really cool energy, I think, for a girl. And that's in May. I think what's really cool for me about May is like her total buddyship with Monkey Kid. She totally has his back in every way. And like, there's also like we do a really unique job of walking that friendship without any amorous entanglements.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fun, and it's so supportive, and it's not like missing anything, even though they are a boy and a girl, and people, I don't know, want to see like get them.
I feel like
ship them.
we squashed that pretty quickly. And maybe in the beginning of season 1, there was like, maybe, and then like we just squashed it.
They were like, what? Nah. Yeah.
All I've seen is people shipping MK with Red Sun.
Yeah.
See no May.
I ship May with Red Sun.
I do as well.
Sun. Yeah, I think a lot of people.
Actually, going back to something about May, I was pretty pissed when May didn't have a big role in season 2. But then watching season 3, I'm like, okay, I forgive you, Flying Bark, for giving May a smaller role in season 2. Because I haven't seen season 3 in English. It's not out yet, but I've seen the Chinese version. And Stepahnie, I'm so excited to see what you did for May in season 3. Because I don't want to go into spoilers, but I can't wait to see your performance. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, it's fantastic. In fact, so fantastic that multiple cast members have like in the middle of sessions gone, like, holy crap, like you're like really good. Like I know you and I know you're good, but like you're like really good. Like her colleagues are surprised by her performance. So
because they really thought I was mediocre before that.
She sets us low expectations.
I mean, you just never reached that Sarah scratch bar, but season 3 finally.
So funny.
Yeah, so we've got the Stepahnie, we heard like how you brought your own stuff to The Voice. Jack, do you think you could tell us a little bit about what you brought, kind of what's your inspiration?
Yeah, I like in the first episode, a thing that I was really drawn to was the fanboy exuberance. Is that he knows who the Monkey King is, he cares about this, and so there's this just everything from there on out is this like dream coming true around him, that he is just like in awe of everything he's getting to be a part of. And I think that's just a rare opportunity with a character. Usually like, they're setting off on some adventure and it's like a whole world of new discoveries. And this is slightly different. It's a whole world of new discoveries that he is hyped about because he knows just enough to know like this is what's happening. Which is incredibly cool and incredibly fun to play. And so that was something I really attached to. And then over time, creeping in like a very playful cockiness. I think there are moments where he gets to be a little jerk in ways that I find very fun. I think we do a good job fighting to keep the character charming and likable as he gets to have a little bit of an ego because he's like becoming incredibly powerful, and really getting to explore that has been really fun too.
And then Lady Bone Demon happens and he just loses confidence, right?
Loses all of it. Yeah. Seeing him really shaken is also, really fun.
I remember watching that episode. I think it was episode 5, season 2. I was not ready for that. Like seeing MK completely get destroyed.
Yeah. I really like how much they've played with what he gains and loses at various times, like when he can be riding the high and when we've really like knocked him down and taken a lot from him and had to rebuild him. I think there's some really cool stuff in there as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one of the questions that we've kind of been asking like everyone that we have on the podcast is how has like COVID affected production on your side? Like how is it like, has it like halted much? Have you guys been able to do a lot of stuff from home? We've gotten a lot of perspectives from Sarah and all of them about it. It would be interesting to see what you guys have to say about it as well.
You should go first. Well, I've got a lot of thoughts on it. I don't first in here.
I'll do the general one then, and you can give the deep thoughts. We were still finishing season 1. I want to say, like, was there still? I think there was still like pickups for season 1.
there are pickups, and we were into 2, I think.
We
Yeah.
had started maybe the original scripts of 2, but we were still doing pickups of 1. So it was like we were pretty early when we shifted to the original shift was like, okay, we're just gonna get Scratch from home, thinking this would be quick, and then we'll like come back and re-record everything. So it was like, how quickly can I set up? Like, I really had nothing, you know, for auditions. If I was auditioning from home, and usually I'd try to like go into my agent's studio to record auditions. So if I was auditioning from home, it was like a little okay mic that I would stick onto my phone and just do it among like a couple of shirts in a closet. I really did not have a home setup at all. So I had to sort of start figuring that out very quickly. And Michael was incredibly supportive in that process as I, you know, built sound blanket fort in my closet and ran I wanted, like, we needed hardwired internet. And the like line in was like, at the time I was in like an apartment, but it was like two story. So my house looked so dumb for so long because there was just like a blue taped like 75-foot internet cord running all throughout my house, like drooping from the ceilings, going up a flight of stairs, running under a rug, into my closet. But yeah, and then I moved in the middle of this, and then was able to like make a studio space, which has been exciting for me. But it's been, you know, really weird and isolating, but also incredibly cool to like roll out of bed and roll into warm up. Not literally, I warm up. But recording from home has also been really cool because I had a baby right around the same time, who's now a 2-year-old this week. Yeah. So it's been cool to like truly actually be able to work from home and just like step into a closet. But I do miss. All right, now I'm over time. Michael, take it. But cool that we get to do stuff on Zoom because I do miss being in a studio and being in a booth with people and getting to really play off each other. But the Zoom approximation is like impressively good. Like it really does still feel like you're getting to play with people and you're getting to feed off of their energy and their performance, which I love. Wow, that was longer. I was just going to say during season 1 was what I was planning on saying there. And then I talked a lot. Go, Michael.
Wait, you forgot so much stuff. Like, hey, I don't think your booth looks stupid. You had a wooden giraffe in there.
Holding up the blankets. Yes.
It's like a pop tent.
It was like a nice, by the way, the like 6 months or whatever that existed, that this like it's this like nice giraffe sculpture that was my wife's mom's. And I like slowly, because it held up these like heavy sound blankets for like 6 months. It now has like an extra little twist in its. It's like an 8-foot tall giraffe that now like lists a little. Anyways, it's great. So it's now in my living room.
Oh, it's wood, right?
It's wood. It just like slowly warped a very small amount. It just has this like extra little turn of the neck.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
When I first saw the giraffe, I was like, when people show me giraffes, I think of Venture Brothers, which is another show I work on, and my character had like a giraffe thing once. Anyway, I was like, it's not relevant at all. Okay, so I own a recording studio, NYV Post. We're bi-coastal, and because I was going back and forth between New York and LA, I had to figure out how to do some distance records before it was like a thing, before there was a pandemic. And so I had a bit of a head start on some of the technology. So when COVID happened, I was like, okay, I know how to do this. Typically, it's been between my studio and my other studio, but now I have to do it between my studio and homes. So that was another wrinkle in there, but I figured some stuff out. I spent some sleepless months at the beginning of the pandemic figuring out some other alternatives and also advising a lot of actors on how to like build an acoustic space. Getting the microphone, that's pretty easy. And there's some decent microphones that are pretty cheap. But, you know, the most important thing about a recording studio is, frankly, the space in which you record, to be non-reflective and also non-sort of weird frequency humping. So that's been a trick. So there's a lot of technology that went into that. But when it came to doing the original sessions for Monkey Kid, I was like, we don't actually have to stream the audio for that. We just need to record it locally, but all hear it together. So jumping into a Zoom room was pretty easy. Now, the one really tricky thing that everyone's had to learn is some rhythm. And Gosh, it's crazy. My really high-tech solution for this was everyone starts recording. They slate the range, like, okay, this is Monkey Kid. I'm doing lines like 1 to 20, and this is going to be a scene. So, oh, I don't know if you can hear the siren, but that's the other problem with pandemic records. Sometimes one actor will stop in the middle and go. Usually it's the same actor. I got leaf blowers. I got sirens. I got the gardener.
It's always Piggy.
It's always Piggy.
He always has planes ahead that he's stopping for.
Hey, kid, there's a freaking plane.
Yeah, the thing is, it's totally fine. We're totally fine with waiting, but he gets like really frustrated in classic Piggy style.
Typical Pigsy. So the high tech solution to giving tracks that can ultimately like sunk up on the other side for the editor, who also does really good scratch. He does a good jack too. It's crazy.
Is that yes? I thought that was it's good. It's really good.
It's really good. Sometimes we're like, wait, on pickups, we're like, did that? No, we're replacing that because
especially
it went red.
Yes, like impact sounds and stuff. He has completely nailed the like dumb squeak that I add to every time I get hit. And so there are times where I'll hear it back. I'm like, that's me, right? That's me already.
Like, no, I gotta replace that. So what I'll do to get everyone to have a sync point is it's very subjective. I'll count down 5, 4, 3. I'll throw my fingers up there, and then at about 3, everyone like counts with it. And
let's do
0,
it right now. Let's just do it right now.
Watch
Jack,
this.
you ready?
Watch
you ready?
this
Yes.
rhythm.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Go ahead and do a fake slate. We're gonna do lines 20 to 25, 20 to 35.
Podcast with lines 20, 25.
2025 MK, take 1.
And they all talk over themselves because it doesn't matter because it's all going to be on separate records locally anyway. And then I go, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're not in sync.
They feel so in sync from where I'm doing it. I felt like I nailed it.
I felt like Jack was super late. Like, I don't know what it sounded like.
Well, you're going to because there's latency, but like I should hear you both together because I'm at the same delay, right?
Yeah. Now just imagine 5 people doing that all at once at the same time, and it ends up like this.
It sounds like castanets. It doesn't make any sense. So then that's our super high tech solution for getting everyone in sync, and then on Flying Barks, and they can line all those up. And then they can pick from different, from different records, like the lines that we circle take. And then the other thing, though, that's kind of fun, the one weird benefit is when we're recording in a room, the standard approach is everyone has to leave a little bit of break in between everyone else's line so that the mixer, the recordist will throw faders, right? Mm-hmm. And Mark is amazing, and he's been doing this for like 20 plus years. And while everyone's doing it, he's looking at a script going fader 1, fader 5, fader 4, fader 3, fader 1, and like so that it all records to a single track. Since we're all recording in different rooms, there's no bleed over to the mic next to you. They can overlap on stuff, which is really, really fun. So if you want to cut someone off, when we're doing a traditional in-person record, you'd have to be like, no, and then you fake like someone cut you off, and the next person gives a beat, then cuts you off. So being able to actually step on each other's lines or have a real back and forth like that is actually kind of fun. And we don't get to do that usually in person. So that's one benefit to doing it remote. But yeah, the sessions are recorded on Zoom. And then when we do the pickups, we'll have one of my NYB engineers, currently Fahad, before that Chelsea, will step in and record everything, sending picture over Zoom or Skype, and then recording on a program called Connection Open, which is a really cool software that lets you record full uncompressed audio over the internet. The only thing you really, really need is wired connection and, hopefully not a terrible one. And then we can record you locally without any loss in quality.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It gets more technical if you want it, but
I'm interested.
I've already fallen asleep.
Can you guys walk us through what's the process of a recording session? Like, how do you start? Do the actors have the full scripts, or they just have part of the script? Like, how does that work?
We start with 35 minutes of completely unrelated banter.
Oh my god!
Michael raises his eyebrows every 2 minutes, about to jump in and cut off the conversation to get us started, and misses the window.
It is true. It's about 35 minutes every single time.
Very efficient. Yeah. It's it's part of my grand design to have a
You create a very loose
fertile
environment. Yes.
ground. Yeah. And we get it done early because we're kicking butt.
No, we get emailed the scripts like probably about 1 day in advance. Is that right?
Yeah, typically.
Typically 1 day in advance. And then I read, I usually read through the script. I think there's only been 3 times in all the seasons where I didn't get to read it beforehand because I was like crazy busy. But usually I always read it beforehand. But I try not to make decisions because I also know that like I have no clue how people are going to do their lines.
I have been able to read them all, thankfully, and usually I like to have 2 to 3 kind of ideas everywhere of just like, here's how I think this is meant to go, and here's another way I could try it, and then
you make notes?
Like no, no,
just in your head.
Just in my head, just sort of going like, yeah, it could be that. Maybe there's another way to hit that joke. I just sort of mark through reading that way, and kind of feel like I have to for this show because it is so dense that I want to make sure because some of those, sometimes MK just winds up and really starts talking for a while, and so I like to have at least a little bit of a thought there, but would have never guessed that there has been a time where you hadn't read, Stepahnie. That's very impressive.
It's only happened like 2 or 3 times, and I think it was also like not very May heavy.
Sure.
I think it probably around season 2, like not, and it wasn't. It was only a couple times, because it does, like, the show means a lot to me, and so I do want to know what's going on. It's most confusing when we skip around and we don't do things in chronological order, because that has happened. We don't always record the scripts in the order that
Right.
It's whatever's ready,
Yes.
But yeah, I was gonna say something different. One of the things that's really, I think, very convenient on this show, the fact that we are doing like group remote records, is that like I laugh so hard at what, like, I'm allowed to laugh. Like before, when we were doing like group records and like someone would do something funny, you can't laugh or else you'll ruin their take, right? But now I can just like, I can laugh, or I can just like quickly mute myself on the Zoom, and then just fully laugh. So it doesn't interrupt the tape.
So all of you have worked on animes in the past, correct?
Yeah.
Would you consider Monkey Kid to be an anime?
Wait, has Jack been in an anime?
I haven't
Jack
actually
hasn't been on an anime.
Well,
I've been in things that also get debated. Are they an anime?
True,
Like
yeah,
Avatar
yeah.
is, but I
That's
would say
been
no,
debated.
it's not.
But it's
American.
not anime unless it's Japanese.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Avatar is
By
an American
definition.
show in
Yeah.
an anime inspired American show.
Yeah.
And there's
And
the debate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
may anime. I never told you. In New York, I met these people. I was at my friend's bar, the No Malice Palace on the Lower East Side, and the bartender was like, "Oh, I should introduce you to these people over here. 3 ladies and a guy who were working with Nickelodeon, who came from LA and moved to New York, and they're like, "Oh, you're in the industry? What do you do?" Like, "Oh, I do animation stuff," which is why the bartender friend introduced us. And they were like, "Oh, you work on some anime? Interesting. Well, Nickelodeon doesn't license anything, but we're working on a secret project that is Avatar." And
this was at the time.
this is
amazing.
like as it was being formed, and I was like, "What?" And so I was like friends with these guys, and then I'd never like I'm the best like networker for making friends, but the worst because I never convert it into like work stuff. But like I knew all those guys, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to talk to you about anime stuff because we're like working on this thing because we're making our own kind of anime, but it's our own original thing because we don't license stuff because that's just not the model for Nickelodeon." And I was like, "Amazing, sounds great."
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And I was over there. I was like 16 over there recording it. Very cool.
16.
I think I was 16 when we did the pilot. Yeah.
You
Maybe
sound the same, Jack.
Well,
What are you drinking?
I was already pitching up a little bit then. So it was like able to, and for MK, like, you know, I'm up here. I go up a little bit. And I was like already doing that for like, cause you know, I was 16 or 17. Sokka was, 15. So I had to sound younger.
Oh, whopping, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. My voice just never got any deeper than this. I don't know.
No, I know the feeling, man. I've been doing teenage nerds and stuff since forever.
You guys,
Let me.
I have to duck out of the call, but you guys should continue. I'm so sorry.
No
I
worries.
have a session that I have to go to. It was lovely talking to you all, and yes, have a great rest of the podcast.
Well, May,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank
May,
you.
before you leave, May, tell us about the internal struggle of the cat.
What do you mean?
What do you think when you do the cat?
What do I think when I do the cat?
Yeah.
What
No,
am
I
doing,
just-
the cat?
I'm just a cat. Cats
No, you're
don't
not. You're a
think
cat with
that-
purpose. Wait, what was the last thing you told me? I gave you direction on the last section that was weird. What did I tell you to do?
Oh, you said to be like my dog,
Oh,
and my dog is
But
insane.
Cat.
Yeah, and that's why I made that weird howling sound, because my dog is crazy. Yeah, my
Also,
dog is.
since
yeah.
we were just talking about Avatar, wasn't Mo originally named Mo? And I was wondering if it got changed specifically because of the Avatar comp.
I have no idea, but
didn't tell me
Momo
that.
is like a common name for pets. It
Right.
also means peach, and it's also like a common nickname for girls. I think it means peach in Japanese. But I will say that I am a dog person who voices a lot of cats. Because my mother used to do this cruel thing to me as a child. She was my mother is the best at making cat sounds, but realistic cat sounds, And whenever there would be
Is she
a
Union?
stray, whenever there would be a stray cat, I would be walking with my mom, and she'd be like, "Do not make eye contact," and then she would just start going, just making that, and then but we keep walking, and then the cat would just look around and follow us, and there were quite a few times the cat followed us all the way home, but then she would never let me keep it. So, but that's how I learned to make cat noises, from my mother's cruel toying with both myself and the cat.
you are the descendant of cat ladies. That's cool.
All right, I gotta go. Okay.
Bye,
Mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. I was gonna ask a question next. Sorry, I was having microphone issues, so I didn't get to introduce myself.
No.
I'm Kyle. I've of course been listening into the whole conversation, but the question I was gonna ask was, were there any fun moments during a recording where maybe you had to do multiple takes because there were a lot of bloopers in the scene, or just anything in particular that stood out?
Heck yeah. I mean, that's like a regular occurrence. Jack, can you think of anything specific where? One thing I remember when MK learns how to clone, there are all these different iterations of him, and then we're in the moment just coming up with different ways of differentiating.
Yeah.
him. I know DJ MK. I don't know why I was say, instead of every time you say party, say porty, and then that led to
Shifted a whole that built a whole character out of that. That was a very fun episode, because it was I tried to look at it and have little ideas, but it was very much a just try each of them a couple different ways, and then we set one and went with it. So that was there was a lot of giggling in that. I'm trying to think. It is genuinely just that is the regular occurrence, is that there's a lot of trying a thing, stopping to laugh, trying it again, silliness. But in terms of one specific distilled moment, I always struggle with this.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a great question. It's there's so many times it's happened, I can't think of a specific instance. This is a show that, as a guy that's directed a bunch of different things and been in a bunch of multicast records, I feel like there's kind of maybe more cutting up in this one than there is in most. I mean, it's part the very professional tone that I set as the director, but also this cast is so fun and funny, and they're impressing and cracking each other up so much that there's lots of stifling chuckles, and in the room together, having to get off the mic and be "Oh," and then in a Zoom room you just hear people.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun though, because you've got like a good like cast of people working together when you're having like so many moments where it's hard to even remember a particular one.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
just
Yeah, it doesn't
piles
stand
and
out as being an
piles.
It's just a good time. It's just a good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One question I wanted to ask was, what are your favorite aspects of voice acting? I guess that could go for both of you. But what are your favorite aspect of voice acting / voice acting, like directing or voice directing? Like, what are your favorite aspects of that?
Mine is the we've talked about it a bunch, but that playfulness. There's just a thing where it's just like, it's fast and cheap to do way more takes than you could in live action. So you get to just like, cool, let's try that again 3 more times. Do this one, do it this way, try it this way. That like freedom and quick playfulness that you don't have to, there isn't a 30-person crew resetting for me to go like, oh, I have one other dumb little way I could say that. I could just do this one little joke and I could say it a tiny bit different. It's like, you can't really do that in live action and just say like, oh, one more. So I just could say that word stupider. But I could do that with Micheal, especially. I feel encouraged to just like, one more little idea. Here it is. Let's try it. And that's really cool and freeing. Yeah, that's my favorite aspect. Just the like easy resetability that allows for a real playful, fluid process.
Very nice.
100%. The playfulness is what's really, really wonderful. And what I think is really special, as it works on both sides of the glass, acting or directing. But like as an actor, I love being in a position where you can surprise yourself. If you really just go with something and don't question or doubt your instinct, then you can just come up with something that you would not have planned on your own because you just got caught up in the moment, especially with other people around you. And then you'll do something that was not necessarily something that you would have premeditated sitting over a script with, writing down notes. You just giving yourself permission to go off of your plan and then come up with something better. That's extraordinary.
Absolutely. Do either of you own like any Lego Monkie Kid sets at all? And if so, which ones are your favorite?
There's a few. I really want the Mac. I don't have the Mac. I want the Mac.
Everyone wants the Mac.
It's retiring soon. Yeah.
It's retiring soon?
No, it's not retiring soon. It still has like another year left.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's
Red Sun's Inferno truck is retiring soon, but everything else.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I got to start getting some stuff. I have none of it. And David Chen, who plays Tang, sends me pictures of his completed stuff with his son, showing them off. I'm like, that's cool. I want that.
For another question, is there any like particular like personality traits or personal things that you sort of put into the characters that you're playing? It can be like outside of Monkie Kid, just in general in that sort of voice work.
I would say every character I play, I enjoy a certain. I like a little sloppiness verbally. It's a thing I bring to most characters I play, usually from a place of that with MK especially comes from this place of exuberance. I'm just like, I like getting so spun up that the words aren't perfect, and that's just sort of a thing about me that I have always kind of let in voice acting wise, that I just kind of enjoy letting the characters be a little sloppy, to the point where like it's tough for me to not do it, and sometimes you need to not do it. So I feel very extra free when it's like, yeah, somebody like MK is allowed to like run over his own tongue when talking sometimes, and that's very freeing and fun.
That's really great. I actually love that about you, Jack. When we're doing the show, more and more I get bothered by, I mean, depending on, the final product, but if you're doing preschool, then, enunciation is paramount. But, if you're not, then I think slopping it up is really, really fun. It feels more genuine and off the cuff. And Jack is a master of it, like clearly a brilliant, hilarious mind, but then all the stuff that happens, and sometimes I even direct for more of that. I'm like, just more blah.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a specific direction, more blah. So I think that stuff's really, really huge, and it really gives life to it, and it makes it feel more like relatable. I don't think moments in voiceover have to be perfect little jewels. To me, that the perfection is in the life is in the imperfection. So I think that's awesome. for me as a voice actor, I think something that I recognize over looking back at the stuff I do is bringing sort of something like genuine, if that makes any sense. Even if it, I think that can be, dangerously close to corny. But, like when I was doing Ninja Turtles, my Leonardo had an air of that, being genuinely concerned for maintaining his family and protecting his brothers. And then, on like Venture Brothers, Dean, as the show got more and more sort of crazy and all the characters became bigger, broader, Dean was the more and more human one in the show, which is weird for a show like that. Yeah, like if I look back at all the different things I did, I think, it's something vulnerable and, I don't know, not cool always is the thing. Because I got to play what I know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we're gonna wrap this up now. And if you guys want to shout out any of your like social media pages or where people can follow you at, that would be great. And other than that, I think that's about it from us.
Jack.
I'm on Instagram at Jack DeSena, but don't bother. I don't really post. But you can if you want to. But I do a lot of stuff on YouTube with my buddy Chris. We have a sketch comedy channel, Chris and Jack. Check that out. That's where real stuff is.
Chris and Jack, very exotic names.
Thank you.
That wasn't taken?
No, actually, 100% it was. Yeah, there's a bunch of Chris and Jacks, but we've been doing it for like 6 years at this point, and so whatever, we get to claim it.
That's awesome. I have a Twitter and an Instagram. I'm actually a little more active on Twitter at msinter. On Instagram, I'm MS Word. But I need to post more. I really do. I'm like Jack in that regard. But yeah, follow me there. And then NYAV Post has an Instagram and a Twitter as well as NYAV Post. I think actually someone stole NYAV Post. Like there's another NYAV Post, so we had to be like NYAV_Post to be the official one. So dumb. Give it back. We actually tried to complain. They're like, this is my company. This is my like certificates of incorporation. Like, how did someone just take the name? No response. And that's kind of where you can follow me there. And then, all the different releases. Oh, I'm sorry. Awesome. I just thought of something about your previous question about, is it an anime? There are so many anime references though. Like it's not an anime because it's not a Japanese production, but that whole team like references lots of different anime. And I've found all these, like while we were doing some of the earlier seasons, Promare from Studio Trigger had come out, and I had directed that, and Sarah and I like would geek out about it all the time. Like she was ordering the box set before it, shipped, and in the test animation stuff and all the stuff we do pickups to, the temp score would largely be from movies like that. So there was so many, like there's so much influence from that world, and I think it's really extraordinary. But they also super make it their own. I think in being a fan of something, you can sort of iterate or copy something, but they really, take it to like all new heights. And I think Flying Bark is just doing extraordinary work and really over delivering on stuff, when they're given like, do an action show, and then you get Monkey Kid, and it's so extraordinary. And everybody else in the cast that does do anime, like Sean Schemmel, he's Goku, right? Is like, this is the greatest looking show that like I've ever seen or been a part of. Like, it's so fantastic. So, yes, I think, they started off with their influences and then saw some amazing anime that blew their brains apart. And then they came back and did this thing that builds on top of that. So I feel like the iterative process and the cross-pollination, I think, has led to something so extraordinary. But it is its own, and it came out of some brilliant minds in Australia. So maybe Australia is going to be the new home of all the kick-ass, like anime style stuff. And Japan's going to go, ooh, Australia's really kicking some butt. Let's look at that.
Now, you say that you had, you've noticed a lot of these anime references. Do you happen to have like a favorite one that you've just kind of picked up on?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think back to, they're little subtle things. Oh gosh. No, I just noticed there's like little subtle things. The first thing that I would, call them out on was like, this music is this. But most of what I saw was Promare stuff. This is not an awesome answer. There was like some color palette stuff and some, I think there was like a walking through the flames kind of look from when Gallo was fighting back at the end of that movie to save Leo Fotia. But I'd have to like find specific stuff. Like, let me do a follow up on that.
That's fine. Just keep it in the back of your mind. We'll come back to it one other day.
Yeah. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, fellowship.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for coming on. We really do appreciate this.
Yeah,
It's great
thank
talking to
you.
guys.
Yeah,
Good seeing you, Jack.
Always a blast, Michael.
See you guys.
All right, hey, I just want to do one last thing. I want to see if everyone can clap together. Can everyone like unmute and see if we can do like a countdown like we do on the show, and then see how the claps turn out?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone, you got to say your name and say we're doing episode 00, and whatever. Is there a number of the episode for this?
This is gonna be like 4.
4, yeah.
All right,
4 or
great.
5.
So you're doing your name, episode 4, line range 1 to 100, and then I'll count you in. Everyone say it. Slate.
Okay.
This is episode 4 or 5.
04, line 1, 100.
Take one.
Take one.
The cacophony. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's what it sounds like when we do the show.
That's wonderful.
All right. And cut.
And cut.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
All right,
again, guys.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
All right.
Boy.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye.